Hello, everyone, and welcome back to World of Warcraft. So, little story. I tried to record this for you guys yesterday. However, I found out that for some weird reason they decided to space this quest line out a day apart. Meaning, once you did the first part, you had to literally wait until the next day for the daily quest reset thing to happen in order to continue this. So, if you don't know what I'm referring to, so, a little setup to explain how I was trying to set this up yesterday. So, as you can see here, you can probably notice I am on my Worgen Death Knight right here. So, yesterday I was doing the video for the Worgen Heritage Armor, and I teased that we were going to be doing a questline involving Anduin. So, I went to him, and I explained that I had found an object in the water, because the way I explained this and set this up was because, as you can see, we are back here at the Broken Shore in Legion. Well, the Death Knights, their headquarters is still over here. Akris, the home of the Knights of the Ebon Blade. It's right here. So, I was flying out from Akris, and right over here I noticed something in the water. What I found was a broken compass with the picture of a young boy. It turns out it was the compass that Varian had in the cinematic for Legion, that had the picture of Anduin as a boy. The one that he was carrying with him during that cinematic. And, well, you guys remember how the ship went down and the compass sank into the water as he was going to, and then he got back up to keep fighting? Yeah, I found that compass. So I went to Anduin and I gave it to him, and he thought it was lost, and he started to get, a little choked up, a little emotional. And then it was like, hey, guess what? You have to wait till the next day. And I was like, are you serious? So that's where we're at now, because I found out the next step is here at the Broken Shore. By the way, you know what I love about the Broken Shore area here? Look at this, the Legion Fall stuff. Look at this right here. Here's an example. A Worgen is walking side by side with a Tauren. Because it doesn't matter what faction they're on or what race they are. We are all here for one reason: to fight the Burning Legion, regardless of what our race or faction is. It doesn't matter, and I love that. I love seeing this, especially given all the crap that we've been seeing in BFA about how you're supposed to hate the other faction and hate the other races. I mean, for goodness sakes, a large portion of Legion and the class order halls was, it doesn't matter what your faction is or race is. What matters is your class, and that you are all fighting a single common enemy, the Burning Legion. And I loved that. That's why it made so little sense to go back to a faction war in BFA. But anyways, so the next step is here. The Stormwind Royal Guard, Captain Schwader. Is that how you say your name, Captain? Greetings. Yeah, I think I've been thinking about getting a name change, about actually purchasing a name change for this character, because that's kind of a silly name. I just kind of came up with it at the moment, and I'm kind of regretting it. I think I probably will name change him at some point. Your presence has been requested in the royal court. The crown has urgent need of you. Please return to Stormwind at your earliest convenience. King Greymane is anticipating your swift arrival. Meet Greymane at Stormwind Keep.
For the Alliance.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. The poppin' is real. Oh man. I don't know why, but today I've been having some weird issues with the game, both, from a technical standpoint, in terms of stuff popping in really late, and sometimes it's hard to tell, is there like server lag or something? Is it the server? Is it on my end? I mean, I've been checking, haven't really been having any connection issues in terms of my Wi-Fi, though I'm actually in the process of getting my computer hardlined into our internet connection, so internet connection shouldn't be a problem anymore. It's possible it could be a hardware issue, but I mean, the game's running fine. I mean, I haven't been having any technical issues with WoW ever since, until 8.3 came out. Since 8.3 came out, I have been having a number of technical issues with the game on my PC. But before that, it was fine. I wasn't having any issues. So it's just, like, for example, look at how long it's taking for the portal here to render in and pop in here. Now, I will say that I did just, I did a full restart of my computer to kind of refreshen all this up. And when I first booted up after a reset, you can see, it takes a while for stuff to pop in and load in. It kind of reminds me of how bad it was on my previous PC. It's not that bad anymore, but man, this is getting, this is taking quite a while for this, I can't get to Stormwind because there's no portal. There we go. Wow. I love the music of Dalaran. I've heard that little music in the background you were hearing just now so much. I spent so much time in doing the Legion content in Dalaran and all throughout the Broken Isles. There are times I still want to go back and do some stuff I haven't done. Like, for example, there are sets and secret appearances that I can get if I go do the Suramar stuff. Like, for example, here's an example. On my Death Knight here, I could get... Oh, hey, look at that. My guild got the Black Temple, guild achievement. Nice. In case you're curious, it's not... I don't think that's the regular Black Temple they did. It is Time Walking Week right now. And it's Time Walking Burning Crusade, which means they were probably doing Time Walking Black Temple. So I already did that to unlock the Warglaives for my Demon Hunter. But you can... There's still incentive to do it because you can still get some 445 gear and such for completing Time Walking Black Temple. Not to mention you can get an extra 500 badges, which can go towards a number of things. You can get some good gear nowadays, by the way. You can get like 415 gear or 410 gear from the Time Walking vendor. Anyways, as I was trying to say, an example of what I'm talking about are the sets from the Legion Order halls. But if you want to finish these sets, you have to get them from the vendor. But the key to unlocking these, for example, is based on your reputation with the Nightfallen in Suramar. Also, in case you're curious, because I have an add-on here that says how you get the secret appearance for each of your Legion artifact weapons. Like, for example, this one told me that if you want to get the secret appearance for the Blades of the Fallen Prince, you have to go beat the world boss, the Soul Takers. If you want the secret appearance for Apocalypse, you have to, keep using Army of the Dead until it drops the book. I already showed the video of how to get that. But if you want to get the secret appearance for the Maw, for Blood, you have to do the Withered Training in Suramar. And boy, how many of you guys loved doing that? Yeah. Now, this is funny. Okay, pretend Anduin is not there. Because what's going on is Anduin was there. I gave him the compass. He leaves. So the point is that these are here going, where is he? Or at least that's what Greymaze is.
Our guest arrives. Perhaps now there is hope of reaching the king.
Again, pretend Anduin is not there.
All I do for Guildmates.
Hold on. /spit. You've arrived at last, Deathlord. You may have noticed that King Anduin is conspicuous by his absence. This is a situation that only you can rectify. He's basically blaming me for this because I brought him Varian's compass. How dare I give him, something to remember his father by. Anduin hasn't been the same since you brought him his father's compass. He has become listless, distracted. We attempted to console him to no avail. Yesterday morning he left the keep without so much as a word. I ordered the guards to follow him, of course. He went to pray at the cathedral, where he has remained ever since. You brought this melancholy upon him. You must convince the boy to resume his duties. There's a war to be won. You kind of see what I'm talking about when it comes to Gen's mindset. I mean, he is in mourning for his father, and all he can think of, toughen up, boy, there's a war to be won.
Gilneas will
Anduin
prevail.
refuses to eat or sleep. He ignores every plea to return to the palace. Nothing I say seems to offer comfort.
I understand the need to mourn, but the king's place is on his throne. The Broken Shore must be our focus. Convince Anduin to end his vigil.
The king's place is on his throne. Really, Gen? Really? I know that there are some people that either like Greymane, and there are some people that even love Greymane, but man, when he acts that way and says stuff like that, it's hard for me to feel the same. It just makes me want to dislike him more and more. Now, they tried to, I've been hearing that they have been trying to, make Gen, better, during the, throughout BFA, not necessarily just in the game, but, an external material, but, oh, man. King Greymane said that you would be coming. Please go right in. I'm sorry, do you take orders from Greymane now? Is he your king, or is Anduin? Also, try to forget that he's wearing the armor, the BFA armor. Try to pretend he's wearing what he wore back in Legion. His priest outfit before he re-rolled to a paladin, which we will see by the end of this, by the way. After the awesome, in-game cutscene. It's hard to call it a cinematic when we know what the actual cinematics are, but sometimes we refer to it as cinematic because they're just that awesome in-game, so it's hard not to think that way.
A just cause is always worth fighting for.
Let me guess. Gen sent you. I wonder which he is more concerned about. My well-being or keeping up the appearance that everything is normal. If you ask me personally, Anduin, I think it's the keeping appearances thing. I mean, after all, he's a king himself, so, of course, that's what he would be concerned about. My father was a legend. He oversaw the rebuilding of Stormwind. Anduin? Do I need to point out that, yeah, he may have seen that, but he also kind of helped bankrupt Stormwind in the process, just saying. He stood toe-to-toe with dragons, led the Alliance to numerous victories. And then one day, he was just gone. I wear his crown, I hold his title, but I've done nothing to earn them, or the faith of my people. I've spent the war sequestered in the keep, surrounded by guards and advisors. I need to walk the streets of Stormwind, to know whether it is hope or fear that beats in the hearts of my people. I welcome your company. I like this. I really do like this, that he is wanting to, be active and really be a king of his people. And this is where some people, I think, probably draw the parallels between him and Arthas. But anyway, that's a whole separate discussion. We'll save that for another day.
Be vigilant.
The time for prayer is over. I must know the hearts and minds of my people. I will accompany you to Lion's Rest.
Be vigilant. I'll need a disguise to move through the city without attracting attention. I think I know just the spell. Follow me.
No one will ever notice. And yes, remember, he's a priest at this point, so of course he has spells. You don't have to be a mage or a warlock to know spells. Priests have spells too. No luck, eh? King Varian won't be happy, but I'm sure you did your best. You guards are idiots. I wonder where King Anduin went.
Stormwind has always been my home. I know its shops and streets as I do the back of my hand. Yet, even as I walk these familiar steps, I've never felt more lost.
Yes, I finally figured out the button to toggle between walking and running. I know it's been a long time, but yet I finally found out how to do that. So I'm hoping this will help with the immersion of the experience. Wait up, Anduin. They brought back my cousin's body from the broken shore last week. I expect a lot more to follow. Now, at least we're safe here in Stormwind. King Rin will keep the city safe. Will he? How exactly will he keep an endless army of demons from invading and killing everyone?
Sure, the demons
They're right to be
here.
Oh.
At our home and hearth.
I got caught up in reading that I didn't realize that was Anduin who spoke that. But yeah, Stormwind is not exactly the best when it comes to holding off an invasion. I mean, it's a lovely, beautiful city, but fortified to hold off an invasion? Not really. Now, Ironforge, that's a different story. That is a city that can hold off an invasion. I mean, come on, it's built into a mountain. I mean, what did we learn about, places? Oh, think they'll ever fix all this? Let's go to the other side. And then the rabbit just bit his head off, I swear. Oh, come on, that's not true. I hope that was a fish. Interesting. Yeah, we're heading to basically the resting place for Varian. Hence why it's called Lion's Rest. I'm King Anduin. I'm gonna kill every demon I see. Don't be Anduin, be Varian. He was way tougher.
I can't blame the lad for his choice. My father sacrificed everything to save his people. He was a great king.
And then the other kid says, yeah, my dad says that too. Okay, I'm King Varian. Look out, demons. Oh, poor Anduin. Yeah, don't mind the Death Knight just kind of escorting this hooded stranger through the city of Stormwind.
Not returned to Lion's Rest since my father's memorial was moved here from the keep. The war has consumed all of my energy and attention. I've not had a moment to grieve.
By the way, right over there is the memorial for all the soldiers who died at the Broken Shore opening scenario for Legion. And the grave for his mother is over there.
Compass back to me. I've prayed to the light for guidance, and to know his spirit is at rest. The light doesn't answer. My people like me, respect me, but they don't believe in me. Not like they believed in him. I've heard the voice of the people, but how do my father's advisors feel? I fear they do not trust me as they did my father. I must know. Follow me to the keep.
I'll meet you there, Anduin. Varian. Can't read those. But, just to emphasize what I was talking about over here... Dedicated to the brave warriors of the Alliance that fell during the battle for the Broken Shore. In the dawn, the heroes stood against the tide of Stormwind's foes. Now in dusk... Oh my gosh. Get that ridiculous. Nonsense. I should have realized that as soon as I came back to Stormwind. Sorry. I wasn't even paying attention to that. Now in dusk, their time to rest, released at last from worldly woes, excuse me. Bravest ally, daughter and son. In the light, we are all one. Make sure this is tracking properly. But, I believe... I think the graveyard for Anduin's mother is in this area over here. In fact, let me see if I can go find it and show it to you before we continue with this. Just gotta remember where the graveyard over here is. Because there's the embassy. Where's the graveyard that they had over here? Ah, here it is, the cemetery. I think this is it right here. Yep. This is her grave. Tiffin Alarian Rin, Queen of Stormwind, fair and just. A wit as quick as her smile. May the light inherit your warmth, for our world grows cold in your absence. Poor Anduin. He lost his mother when he was just a child, and now he's lost his father, and has to now take his place as king. It's no wonder he's feeling this way. Again, try to shift your timeline mindset away from what we know in BFA to back in Legion, where this was like, you know, some players were still trying to get over it, or to come to grips with it and deal with it.
It seems Gen and Velen are speaking about me, but I can't quite make out the words.
The young king will become a great leader. I have foreseen it.
Visions don't win wars, Prophet. The boy has a good heart, but he's untested.
The light is strong with Anduin. He will grow into his crown. We must have faith.
We need more than that, and so does he. Anduin wasn't there on the Broken Shore. He hasn't seen the sacrifice his soldiers made, that they continue to make. A king must know the weight of the orders he gives, the price of them. If a compass breaks his spirit, how will he respond when the war arrives on our doorstep?
First off, sorry that you guys may have heard that echo. I'm pretty, you can hear it in my headphones, and it just kind of leaked into the mic. Sorry about that. So, Gen isn't wrong. He's not wrong, but, I mean, that's, you're not exactly gonna, the mindset of, kick him in the pants until he, comes to grip with it. That's not how you go about it. He's right about that a king needs to know the weight of his choices and the orders that he gives to his men, the price of them, that sometimes he has to make a decision that can sometimes lead to the death of his men. But it's sometimes the right decision, even if it is the hard decision. But it's like, oh, if a compass breaks him, how is he going to respond when this happens? Well, you certainly don't, tell him to toughen up, just 'cause. That's not how you go about it.
Sometimes we must fight for
They're
what we
right.
believe in.
They are absolutely right. The time has come for me to travel to the Broken Shore and see, for myself, the place where my father died. If I am to be the king that my father was, the King Stormwind deserves, I must know firsthand the threat that my people face. Please tell my advisors that I've gone to the Broken Shore. If I told them myself, they would only try and stop me. I will wait for you at Deliverance Point. Farewell.
Victory in the light. Thank you, my friend. I know what I must do to learn the weight of my father's crown. I must go to the Broken Shore and see for myself the sacrifice he made.
I'll meet you there. That's what you get. Hello, Velen.
Not all who wander are lost.
Listen. Velen listens closely to your words as you tell him of King Anduin's plan. The Broken Shore is a dangerous place. Far too dangerous to travel alone. But perhaps this journey is necessary for Anduin to find peace. When the moment is right, I will inform King Greymane of Anduin's departure. Until then, go and see that Anduin is not alone on the broken shore. I trust that you will return him safely. You can count on me,
Will
Val.
you join our cause?
So now, part of the convenience of doing this as a Death Knight I still have to use this quite often because of the rune forging. Anytime I get a new weapon, I'm like, all right, back to Acaris and do some more rune forging. Can I just say also, I really would love for them to expand on this. I think this has gone untouched since Wrath. There are only 3 runes. And as far as I know, this is how it's been since Wrath. Because this was in the Death Knight starter zone. They haven't touched this. If you look at Unlearned, there's nothing. There is nothing. Blizz, please, add more to the rune forging mechanic. Give us more options when it comes to rune forging our weapons. Please. Make rune forging something that's awesome and cool for Death Knights again. Instead of just the same 3. Because it's always the same thing. You got a 2-handed weapon, Rune of the Gargoyle. Oh, one-handed weapons. Do one on one weapon and the other on the other. It's just disappointing. So of course we have a built-in Flight Master right here, and as you can see, it's literally right there. And there's his quest: A Walk to Remember. Oh gosh, they had to title it after that. I love that movie, by the way. A Walk to Remember. Oh, I love that movie. That got to me. That is a movie that will probably make you cry. It got me emotional. It's a sad movie, but I love it. Oh, the Broken Shore. Do you guys know? See that I have the Death Lord's mount, right? So that means that you probably know that I did the entire Broken Shore campaign in order to get access to it, right? I did that for every class. Let me say that again. I did the entire Broken Shore campaign for every class because I wanted to get all the class mounts. If you think I'm exaggerating about that, I have the feat of strength to prove it. Now that's just for the class order hall campaigns, but trust me, I did the entire Broken Shore campaign here with every class to get all the mounts. I had my fill of this place. But I still love it, though, in its design. The fact that, if I'm here as a Death Knight, this area is different because because I'm a Death Knight. The fact that there are these, grotesque abominations instead of some of the other things that other classes have, that there are Knights of the Ebon Blade here, I just love that this place is different based on your class. It's really cool. Love it. Now, where are you? Where are you, Anduin? Ah, there you are.
Greetings, friend.
It's good to have you at my side. I've come to the Broken Shore to see, for myself, the price that that the Alliance has paid to protect our world. I'll finish this before I comment on that. As long as I am blind to the suffering and the sacrifices of my people, I will never be able to lead them to peace. Time is short. We should move onward. Before we do, though, there is... So, when we get to the cutscene at the end, there is one thing about it that I really dislike. Because this is, of course... Now, yes, this is an Alliance-only quest, and that makes perfect sense, because it has to do with Anduin. Obviously, the Horde wouldn't be able to do this. That's impossible, sadly. But, I mean, here we are at the Broken Shore with the Legion fall. It's all about, regardless of whatever your race or faction is, we are all here together for one common reason, and that is to fight the Burning Legion together. And yet here we are talking only about what the Alliance has had to pay to protect the world, instead of both the Alliance and the Horde. Because both have had to, pay and make sacrifices, especially in this expansion, to protect Azeroth. I mean, for goodness sakes, even Varian, at times, instead of saying for the Alliance, said for Azeroth, because that's what it was really about. And Khadgar keeps saying that because he doesn't care about any of that faction garbage. Khadgar is all about Azeroth. He may have a statue in Stormwind, but that doesn't mean he's gonna, hate the Horde just because he has a statue in Stormwind. He's not about the Alliance. He's about Azeroth. And Anduin keeps talking about peace, and we do get that by the end of BFA, but But again, the whole, I bring this up because we're gonna see a moment in the cutscene where it's gonna bring up the stupid implication about the Horde betraying the Alliance at the Broken Shore, which we know for a fact is not actually true. But Blizzard, again with their slanted writing, decides to just bring it back up again. Anyways.
Never lose hope. For the Alliance above all.
I can close my eyes to the atrocities of war no longer. I must see the threat of the Burning Legion for myself. Anduin, what you see here on this island, on the Broken Shore, this is nothing. This is a little speck, a little smidgen of the Burning Legion. But maybe that'll be enough for you to perhaps get a taste of how horrible they actually are.
You are always welcome in Stormwind. Let's go.
I wonder, if I mount up, will he mount up as well? Yes, he will. Oops. Oh, hey, Coltira.
This land is far worse than I had imagined. My father sought to shield me from the war, insisting I stay behind because Rin must always rule in Stormwind. But I saw the truth in his eyes, his fear of losing me. When my mother died, I was all he had left of her. Come, let us press forward.
Right behind you.
Champion, we've spotted the wreckage of a Horde airship. Secure its cargo before the Legion does.
Trust me, Khadgar, I did that enough. I don't need to do it any more than I already have to.
When the Legion vessel fell, it released what remained.
World quests! World quests!
Stormwind honors your service to the Alliance.
This place is filled with indescribable horrors. To think that I was blind to all of this pain and suffering. Never in my life have I beheld such destruction, such misery. The very ground that we walk on, I think I'm supposed to say is, not us, is paved with the bones of our allies. Quite literally, actually. Even now I can see the lost spirits of Alliance soldiers wandering the ruins. I cannot leave this place without putting the souls of our brave soldiers to rest. We owe them. I owe them that much.
A king is only as noble as the causes he serves. This land is grim and brimming with sorrow.
What happened to me? Where is my body? I was fighting on the Broken Shore, Can you hear me? By the gods, am I dead? Find your way into the light, my friend. The time has come for you to rest. It's funny coming from that I'm saying that coming from a Death Knight. If I was playing on my Paladin, that would probably make much more sense that I'd be saying that, because why would a Death Knight be like, find your way into the light? Unless I was that horseman from Noxramas who was also a Paladin, because that was a thing. Trust me on that. Thank you for this kindness. I will never forget you. So while we're doing this, there's probably something to kind of bring up that I know some people have perhaps speculated on and discussed. And that is, Anduin is now a king, and he is an orphan, and he has no siblings. At least as far as we know. Oh gosh, what if Blizzard actually, like, has a, Varian had some kind of fling with someone, and all of a sudden he has some strange half-sibling just pop up out of nowhere. I don't think they would do that, considering that they really tried to work on Varian's character by the time he died in Legion. But the topic that people have been bringing up is, what is Anduin and the Alliance going to do in terms of line of succession? They're basically saying, who is Anduin now that he's king? Who is he now going to marry and have become his queen in Stormwind and produce an heir? Because remember, the Alliance is all about a monarchy. It's not just, Anduin and Stormwind. It's also, the Greymanes for Gilneas. I mean, after all, Gen is a king. Mira is his queen, and Tess is a princess. Now, some have wondered about, this has caused some people to wonder about who is Anduin going to end up with. And if you're wanting my personal thoughts on theories, I think it's possible they could go the route of Tess Greymane, but I would not really like that, considering that would give Gen basically more pull and power in Stormwind, and based on how he's been, I would not like that. However, Lorna Crowley, on the other hand. Now, some have also wondered, what about if he married someone of a different race for political reasons, which is, historically in real life, that was a common thing, that they would marry people off to have, political connections. In fact, you can even do that in certain strategy games, like, I think Crusader Kings 2 did something like that. I think maybe the Civilization games, possibly. You try to establish, like, treaties and such politically, and some kingdoms would do that through marriage, marry their son off to another kingdom's daughter. This is something that was actually going on in this setting, basically that they were anticipating was going to happen between the Menethils and the Proudmoors because of Arthas and Jaina. Because if Jaina and Arthas had gotten married, the Proudmoors would have then, politically been attached to the Menethils and that kingdom in Lordaeron, and, the political power and connections of Lordaeron and Kul Tiras and all that, along with the Alliance. You get what I'm saying here. So some have now thought about, what if Anduin marries someone of a different race, like a dwarf? Like, what if he married Moira? Now, Moira is not as bad as she used to be. But, people have just kind of been throwing those out. They have not really done anything with this at all, basically. So, I don't know if they actually are going to do this. I would kind of think it would be the smart thing to do, because, to avoid a succession crisis, because that's kind of why you bother doing that. But I would personally, not that I have anything against Tess Greymane, it's all about her, it's all about Gen that I have the problem with, because her daughter marrying Anduin would give him more political pull and sway and power and such, and, unless he really changes his ways, I don't want that. But Lorna Crowley, however, maybe this would cause, her father to come back, because he's disappeared, and maybe kind of come back and be like, Gen, Stop it. No. Just speculation on my part. And no, I don't think it's going to be Jaina.
Time and time again, I have watched from afar as the heroes of Stormwind fought and died to preserve peace on Azeroth. My father was not the first King of Stormwind to die fighting the Burning Legion. My great-grandfather, King Baratheon, and my grandfather, King Lane, also paid the ultimate sacrifice. The kings of my family have always fought shoulder to shield with their soldiers for the freedom of Stormwind. Come, let us press forward.
I mean, it's not that, I heard some people say, oh, Jaina's too old to, bear him children. I'm like, Jaina is not that old. Jaina isn't, Granny Jaina or anything at this point. She is, what, in her 30s? Maybe 40s? I don't know. But, I mean, to think that she couldn't, be able to bear kids at that age, I mean, it's been proven some women in that age are capable of actually bearing kids. But it's more so that, the age gap between them, plus Anduin sees Jaina like his aunt. It would be weird, I'm sure, for both of them if that was some kind of arrangement that was made. I don't think they would do that. So to me, I think the likely candidates at this point possibly could be either Tess or Lorna. I personally would prefer Lorna to end up with Anduin instead of Tess, but again, that's mainly because of Gen. But they could go a different route. Who knows?
Stormwind will endure.
Thank you. A peaceful rest is all that we have to offer those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for the Alliance. For Azeroth. There you go, Anduin. Remember, you're all about peace. Now that I have seen the broken shore and the terror of the Burning Legion firsthand... No, Anduin, trust me. All you have seen here is a speck on a fingernail of what the Burning Legion truly is. You didn't go to Argus with us and see some of the other really horrible things. You haven't seen some of the other horrible things here on the Broken Isles and places like that where the Burnt Legion really showed how horrible they are. My eyes have been opened to the truth. I speak not of the unfathomable evil of the enemy, but of the bravery and the sacrifice that such evil beings about in the hearts that such evil brings about in the hearts of our people. My father once told me that every king must carry the weight of his own crown. Mine has never felt heavier than it does at this very moment. Please, take me to the place where my father died, so that I may honor his sacrifice. So again, we're about to see an awesome, awesome cutscene. I love this cutscene. And I mentioned the thing I don't like about it, that they, bring back up the implication that the Horde betrayed them, which is a lie. But anyways. There is one other thing, though. And that's what we see. Or rather, who we see. I'll talk a bit more about it after we see the cutscene. But it's still pretty awesome. Symbolically, it's still amazing. So, hope you enjoy.
Safe journey to you. I have lived my life, sheltered by the blood of heroes like Tyrion and Bolvar. Heroes like my father. The time has come for me to do the same. Take me to the place where my father died. I must see it for myself.
Right, this way, Your Majesty. And you can see Velen and Gen are right up ahead.
Here. This is where his father fell.
The boy has never known the horrors of the Legion. as we have.
No. I haven't.
Anduin.
How could you just leave?
I had to come here.
My boy, you don't need to see this.
Father. You never surrendered. Even here, at the very end. I cannot do this, Father. I can't be the hero you were. I can't be the king you were.
Anduin, your father's actions were indeed heroic. They were his challenge to us, his people, to never let fear prevail, even at the very gates of hell.
What am I supposed to do now?
What a king must do.
Gosh, I love that cutscene. So good. And that song that plays during that final sequence always gives me chills when I hear it. So good. So, I was tempted when they showed Varian there to say, "Hi, Varian, it's good to see you." If that's really who you are. Because the thing is, we're not really sure who that really was, or even what that really was. It is possible that actually was Varian. But that's like one of 5 or so different possibilities of who or what that actually was. I like that it showed him basically, surrounded by statues of heroes, implying that that's where he belonged. And I've heard some have different reactions as to how that interaction went there. I've heard some say that they would have preferred if Varian hadn't actually said anything, that he just simply gave him a look. Like, a look that only his father would give him, that would basically just convey the message of what he was, what Anduin needed to hear, or to be told by Varian. Some people, say subtlety speaks louder than actual words. But yeah. Oof. Again, I hate that they just threw that in there, that little horn thing. It was almost like, "Remember, Anduin, the Horde betrayed us. That's very important. You need to remember that, especially going into BFA. The Horde betrayed us. That is a proven fact." Oh gosh, I hate Blizzard's slanted writing when we know for a fact that it's wrong and false. Still, but besides that, still an awesome cutscene. Now, if you're wondering who I actually think that was, I honestly still don't know to this day. There's a part of me that really wants to believe that actually was Varian. That in that moment, that those two were able to have that one last moment together. We haven't seen Varian since this cutscene you just saw. Or rather, whatever, you know, if that was his spirit, his soul. We're not really sure, you know. Again, we don't even know if that actually was Varian or if that was someone else or something else. But anyways. And then, of course, at the end there with the sword now glowing gold, as it is now, this is where many of us joked, and this is where Anduin re-rolled from a priest to a paladin, basically. Though, obviously, some time passed by the end of Legion to BFA, where I'm sure Anduin got some more actual combat and martial training to actually, you know, reach the point where, you know, like in Lord, the priests of old, you know, like Alonzus Fowl and Uther and all them, did go from being priests to paladins because they actually got some combat training. They started wearing plate armor instead of just robes and clothes, you know. Because that's what paladins are in lore. They are priests that received combat and martial training and started wearing plate armor instead of robes and cloth. You have helped me more than I can say, and for that you will always have my thanks.
Be vigilant.
So, that is the end of this quest line, exclusive to Alliance players, where you basically got to see a quest line that was a very important, pivotal character moment for Anduin. I would say this was definitely a important turning point for him during this time period, which it does lead into kind of how his character is, I guess you could say, you know, whether or not his character grows or not. I mean, I'm sure some people would disagree because the amount of dislike the writing in BFA has gotten, but, you know, compare Anduin from how he was at the beginning of Legion to how he is in BFA, I'd say he did a little bit of growing. And this was, I think, an important moment for him. And yep, here we are at the Tomb of Sargeras. Which reminds me, I may want to see if I can join a Mythic Mog run while I'm here. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time.